Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is May 14th, 2024, and Robert Lewandowski could receive a Ballon d'Or. Also, there's still disagreement between Xavi Hernandez and Deco in regards to Vitor Roque. And finally, the club have asked Xavi Hernandez to try out two of La Masia pivots. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and before we begin with the news, just a quick reminder to make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. Also, if you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the kit bag, and if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you head to Bet Us. Both links for kit bag and Bet Us are down below in the description. I do apologize about uploading this video so late, but as I announced in yesterday's podcast, I finally got a new computer. Woo! I'm very excited. So this is why it took so long. I was setting it up. I had to, re-download all my softwares, make the settings, etc., connect everything. So this is why it's taking me so long. But don't worry, because I got all Barcelona news for you. It's starting with Robert Lewandowski, whose entourage is leaking to the Polish media that he was very upset about yesterday's substitution. As you might recall, during the match between Barcelona and Real Sociedad, Xavi Hernandez took out Robert Lewandowski during the second half, and he brought in instead Ferran Torres, and Lewandowski was seen very upset as he was leaving the field. And even when he was shown sitting on the sidelines or on the bench, he was seen like in deep thought, like he was not too happy about what was going on. And well, now his entourage are leaking to the Polish media that the Polish striker was very upset about that, and that they think that Xavi was doing that in order to upset the player so he can leave in the summer, since there's been a lot of talks about the club preferring for Robert Lewandowski to leave since his salary will be incredibly high. But of course, Xavi Hernandez explained in a press conference that that was not the case, that simply he noticed that the match needed more intensity, needed more fresh legs. That's why he brought on Ferran Torres. That's why he brought on Fermin Lopez. And Xavi also added that he understands Lewandowski's position because he too used to get very upset when he would be subbed out back when Xavi was a player. Now, I'm glad that Xavi Hernandez is not only giving us an explanation, but he's standing up to Lewandowski, because here's the thing. I like Lewandowski. I think he's done a lot to help the team out, but he needs to know his place. And after all, he is not above any other player. He is not above the team, and he is not above the coach. And if the coach says it's time for you to come out, then it's time for you to come out. No tantrums, no getting upset, no leaking to the media. That's how this works. That's how every team in the world works. As a player, you have to listen to your coach. If you don't like it, there's a door. But no more drama queen tantrums, because this is not how it works. So I'm very glad that Xavi is standing up to Lewandowski. Now, speaking of Robert Lewandowski, it's being reported that France Football are now considering giving the Polish striker a Ballon d'Or. Now, as you might recall, Robert Lewandowski had one of his best seasons back in 2020. That's when Lewandowski won the sextuple with Bayern Munich. He also scored a total of 100 goals in 85 matches. So an incredibly impressive season for the Polish striker, a season where everybody expected him to win the Ballon d'Or. But of course, because the pandemic, France Football canceled the Ballon d'Or, so there was no Ballon d'Or that year. And as such, Lewandowski did not receive his prize. And many were left talking about how Lewandowski deserved it that year. And even Messi, when he received his last Ballon d'Or, he got up on the stage and said that Lewandowski had deserved it back in 2020 and that France Football should give him one. Well, now, after, I don't know if it was the pressure or just France Football coming up to their own conclusion, but now they are considering, or they're studying the possibility of making a historic decision in giving Lewandowski a Ballon d'Or for his performance during that season when the Ballon d'Or was canceled. I really hope that happens, because there's No doubts that he deserved it that year. Again, he won a sextuple with Bayern Munich. He scored 100 goals in 85 matches. An incredible season for Lewandowski. So hopefully he does receive his award because he deserves it. Now, more news because the fiasco with Vitor Roque continues, as now it's being reported that Deco continues to disagree with Xavi Hernandez over the Brazilian player. And as you know, and as I reported in yesterday's podcast, Xavi Hernandez has communicated to the club that he does not count on Vitor Roque next season. The club has agreed with this finding, and as such, they will be looking to send Vitor Roque on loan during the summer. But it seems that Deco continues to disagree with Xavi Hernandez, where Deco does believe that Vitor Roque has what it takes to be a Barcelona player. Xavi Hernandez does not believe so. In fact, they're reporting that Xavi has turned in or has presented to the club reports about why Vitor Roque does not have what it takes to be a Barcelona player, which of course contradict the reports that Deco had submitted to the club, which say the opposite, that Vitor Roque does have what it takes to be a Barcelona player. So it seems like there's still a disagreement between Xavi and Deco in regards on whether Roque is an appropriate player for Barcelona or not. Of course, Barcelona have already accepted that Xavi does not count on him, so they will be looking to send him out on loan. But Vitor Roque's agent, Andre Curie, is now insisting that, of course, it's the same position as before, that if Vitor Roque will be sent out on loan, that they're not looking for a loan, that instead they are looking to leave on a permanent basis. But Barcelona would prefer to keep Vitor Roque. They want to send him out on loan, then have him come back a season later. But again, his agent insisting that there's not going to be a loan, that if Barcelona do not count on him, then that they will leave on a permanent basis, which again, Barcelona does not want to do. But if they have to, they will accept. If the player and his agent continue to insist, they will accept. And they're talking about Barcelona wanting around 40 to 45 million euros for the player, which makes sense because, that's how much money Barcelona would need in order to recover their losses. Because as you might recall, Barcelona have agreed to pay 30 million euros fixed. So if they sell them for 40, 45, that's a 10, 15 million euro profit. And there's already talks about several clubs being interested, about clubs reaching out to Barcelona, asking about the possibility of signing the player. Amongst those clubs are Inter Milan and even Porto in the Portuguese league. So it looks like we're going to have a little bit more fiasco. Vitor Roque, we're going to have to wait and see what happens, whether he does eventually agree to go on loan and come back in a season, or whether he will continue to insist to be transferred on a permanent basis. But one thing is for sure is that Xavi does not count on a player. He doesn't believe that Vitor Roque has what it takes to be a Barcelona player, and he has submitted reports to the club that say the same. Now, more news because Barcelona have asked from Xavi Hernandez that he try to use two of La Masia pivots in the first team. Now, Barcelona have told Xavi that they're still going to continue looking for a proper pivot in the market. However, they do want him to try out 2 out of the 3 pivots that are currently in the academy. Of course, we've talked about these names. Marc Casado, the Barca Athletic captain. There's also Pau Prim. And finally, Marc Bernal, who is reportedly going to be the future pivot of the club because this player is showing a lot of promise. Xavi has already recommended to the club to keep an eye on Marc Bernal because he believes that he has what it takes to be the future pivot. And now Barcelona have asked Xavi that even though they are going to be looking for a pivot in the market, to please try out 2 of these in the first team. And it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen, where Xavi is going to be working with 2 out of these 3 pivots throughout all summer to see, which one of them has what it takes. We don't know who's going to be the 2 out of the 3. Maybe Casado and Prem, since they do have a little bit more experience, and since the club want to take their time with Marc Bernal because they consider him the future pivot, so they want to take their time with him so he can continue growing and developing. We don't know who the 2 are going to be, but just know that Xavi will be working very closely with 2 out of the 3 pivots during the summer transfer market, maybe even during this final stretch of La Liga. Anyways, that is all the news for this video. We'll be uploading another video in a little bit. Lots of news today coming out of Camp Barca as usual, so make sure to check it out. And as always, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. And as always, Visca Barca.